I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad it worked.
Yeah, a little bit nervous, but I'm ready.
Oh, don't be nervous, honestly. I promise it'll be great.
Perfect. I hope so.
So I'll start off with a little introduction to the podcast, and then if you want to then introduce yourself. So, obviously, my name's Zoe, and I started this podcast because I've got limb-girdle muscular dystrophy type 1B, and I really just wanted to try and not just raise awareness about the condition, but also what it's like to navigate life with the disease. Because I do think there's a lot of misconceptions and a lot of stereotypes out there that just aren't correct. And I like to have a lot of different guests on to talk about their experiences and just really share their story, and that was why I really wanted to have you on to talk about your journey, really.
Thank you so much. So now I'm going to introduce myself, right?
Perfect. Yeah.
So hi, I'm Katharina. I'm 24 years old and I'm from Germany, near Hamburg. First of all, sorry for my German. I hope you can understand everything. I'm a student and I study education management, and I'm also on social media where I talk about this. So I have the same disease like you, but another type. My type is LGMD type 2E. So yeah, and a little fun fact maybe about me is I love salted chips.
I love salted chips too. So obviously we've got many things in common. I actually haven't heard of limb-girdle 2E, so that's a new one that I've come across.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly. So I'll ask out of interest, how does it affect you? Like, what are your kind of day-to-day symptoms with 2E?
So I think the symptoms are maybe similar, like to B or to A. And honestly, this condition impacts my life completely, because I think muscular dystrophy is not like a symptom. Maybe you have it one day and maybe the other day is not there. So I notice it every day when I wake up, stand up from my bed and walk a little bit and say or think about it. Oh, okay, today is a good day or a bad day. And I slept, maybe, for example, I slept good, then the day is better than when I slept bad, because my muscles are stronger. But other days my muscles are weak and then I can't walk that so far. For example, maybe I have to say I can walk, but I also have a wheelchair. So maybe some days I use my wheelchair more often, like other days. So
That honestly, I can really relate to what you've said, because like yourself and mine, it affects my entire body, like even like my stomach and the way I eat and my bladder and everything. And from the moment I wake up till I go to bed, it's there. There's no like getting away from it or ignoring it. But I on my good days, like I'm pretty mobile and can walk, but then on my not great days, I do also use my powered wheelchair, and I think that's something that a lot of people get quite confused about, don't they? It's like, how are you, like, can you do both?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same, because when I start with social media, for example, and I show videos from myself, oh, I have a wheelchair and I also can walk, people say, oh, you're a faker, you're not ill, you can walk, so you don't ill. And yeah, it's very complicated for their minds, I think.
It is, and I think that was another reason I really wanted to show with this podcast, to try and educate those people onto how you can do both, really. But obviously I have followed you on social media for a little while, and you're really good at it. Like, you just seem to, you honestly are, you've got a real knack for it, and you know what the trends are and how to raise awareness and get people to listen. So I wanted to ask, what really inspired you to go into social media?
I think it all started with annoying my friends on Snapchat by constantly sending videos. But the much bigger reason for me is that I've been making videos and helping others since I was little. And then I would like to say, it's like a kind of safe therapy because I'm putting myself out there and helping others. It's also helping me and cope with my condition and learning to deal with it better. Plus, I also would love to have someone who could help me when I was little, so and take away my fears. And now I can be the person for others, you know. So it wasn't just one person who inspired me. For example, it's whether more that I have to make people feel comfortable, for example, with their condition, illness, and also spread awareness. Because I think when many people show their condition and illness, it's so more important because let me check how I can say this sentence in English. So I think many hands, fast end. So I hope we all can be cured. And when you show awareness on social media, for example, maybe one day there's a doctor who say, this girl or this woman have to be take the pill to be cured, and all the other girls and person on the whole world have to take it also. So awareness is so important, and yeah, that's why I love to hear your podcast, for example, and see all the other people with condition on social media, because you spread awareness, and that's so good for all the other people, you know.
I agree. I think that was really very similar to why I also wanted to do the podcast. And like you say, I think when I was younger, I would have really liked someone like myself or like you to kind of look at and know that it was okay. Another question I wanted to ask, that is a common question I ask people, is for the listeners that might be listening, what would you like them to know about life with muscular dystrophy?
I think I want people to know that they have that we also have the right to enjoy, for example, love or joy and everything else life has to offer. I wish the world or people were built in a way that allows people like us to go to parties, to go to restaurants without a broken elevator or stairs. And I will also would like to raise awareness for this condition, because I think, as I already told, many hands, fast end. And also, I'm honestly tired of being ill and have this disease. So I would love that everybody knows this condition, because when many people knows this condition, I think the cure for everyone is faster there. So yeah, I would like to have a healthy life and a cool teenage years like all the other healthy teenage years. So yeah, that is my point.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Honestly, I think it's just about just kind of trying to normalize muscular dystrophy. I do think because it is obviously quite a complicated disease, like it, with it affecting so much, I think a lot of people struggle to understand it. Like I know with myself, I've talked about it quite a lot, but I struggle a lot with my stomach, and a lot of people get really confused and don't understand how it affects your muscles, and I think that can make it harder for us trying to live our life and find things that are accessible and have people treat us in the way that we want to be treated and treat us with empathy, because if they don't understand it, they don't know how best to support you. And so I think that was a really big thing, and why I'm so honest in my podcast about the things that affect me. I mean, when I was younger, I used to get really embarrassed about how my body worked or didn't work. It's probably the better phrase. But I think if I'm not honest with people and I don't tell people how it affects me, they're not going to know how to support me or how to be patient and understanding. So I've got a lot better now at just being like, this is me, take it or leave it. But I think that does definitely come with time, and it's a bit of a long journey for people.
But it's also, I think, a long journey for ourselves, because this condition is so complicated. And sometimes I'm in my bed and think about, I'm not sure about how this condition works, for example, but I'm the person who has this condition.
Yeah.
So I think, okay, when it's hard for me, maybe it's harder for everyone else that doesn't have this condition, because it's so difficult. And for example, your condition, we have the same muscular dystrophy, but maybe not the same type. But you have problems with your stomach, for example, and I'm not. And also there are people who are maybe 5 or 6 and can't walk anymore, but we can,
Yeah.
So it's so confusing. Yeah.
It is very confusing. It's a very weird condition when you sit and think about it. It's a very complicated thing. We're actually whizzing through these questions a lot quicker than I was expecting to. So I don't think it's going to be. No, that's a good thing. Question wise, I think from your perspective and with what you do in social media, we've touched on it a little bit. But what would you like to see a difference in the muscular dystrophy community, whether that be people's understanding or accessibility, or more treatments? What would you like to change in the world, if that makes sense? Don't know if I've worded that right.
I wish that more people with muscular dystrophy show our condition on social media. So awareness is so important. And yeah, I know everybody, for example, is too shy for do it. But as I'm already talk about it, it's like a kind of self-therapy. And when I don't start with social media, I don't have the choice to talk, for example, with you. I met so many other great people with muscular dystrophy. And yeah, it's so nice to see that you're not alone and can talk with others, people, for example. So go and show the world who you are, with condition or without. And many hands, happy end. So go and trust the process and start with social media, for example. So is it
That was
right
amazing.
for your
That was
question?
great. Honestly, that was a really great answer. You're a bit of a pro at this. You're giving really good answers.
Thank you. But it's very hard because when you, for example, when you can speak German, I can talk 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever. But when I have to speak in English, I have to say 3 sentences and then my mind can't say. So it's very hard to make the German sentences in English. And that's why maybe they are so short.
I think you're doing really well, considering, as you say, you're German. To come on this and give such great answers, honestly, you're doing such a great job, and I really appreciate you coming on here, because I've been so excited to have you as a guest, because as I say, I've followed you for a while, and I just really like the message you put out. I really like the content you do. I think you're a really good representation of people with limb girdle, and you show people what we're all about. You show that we're just as fun. We've got just as much drive, much life in us. So you give a really good message to people.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the compliment. And I'm so happy to be here today, and also to have to write with you, or for example, that we have the little collection right now, and maybe in the future. So I think it's also very cool to talk with people from all around the world, because when I start with social media, people from Turkey, how do you say that? Turkey? Is it right in English? Yeah, Turkey.
Yep.
India, Indian, for example, America, Great Britain.
Wow.
So all over the world, is I think in Spain also, or Italy. So it's so crazy because there are so many people with this disease all over the world, and it's so nice to speak with them or talk to them. So thank you for having me here today. Yeah.
No, honestly, it's a great pleasure for me. I think something that maybe our listeners will be very interested in is, what is it like having muscular dystrophy in Germany? How is it with access and healthcare? Is it quite an accessible place?
So
no. Okay.
it's okay, but it's not perfect, I would say. So I think it's a privilege to live in Germany because there are many other countries that don't have this health system. But I think when I saw other systems, for example, in America, you can get faster medicine. For example, in Germany, there are a lot of paper stuff that you have to write or do. So it's not perfect. It's good, but it's not perfect.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've been aware of America. There's a lot more, I think, treatments and a lot more research into muscular dystrophy.
Yeah.
In the UK, it's not bad. I mean, we're very lucky that we have the free healthcare and we have the support, but I think there's still a lot more barriers, probably similar like there is in Germany, where to try and get those treatments, or it's very, very expensive. So yeah, it's difficult. And accessibility wise, it's not great. I mean, there's certain parts of the UK where there's more access, like it's more wheelchair friendly, and then there's other parts that maybe not so much. Yeah. But I also have found that like there's not as much, or maybe I'm just not looking in the right places, but I don't think there's as many wheelchair designs and options over here. I think I see in America, and they have wheelchairs where you can like stand up, and they're like, mini transformers. It's all amazing. What is it like in Germany for wheelchairs?
But tell me, you don't have wheelchairs, for example, that can stand up, so you don't have many choices?
No, not that I've seen. They've just started to design some. Like I've seen some, in like exhibitions, like where they show them off like demo versions, but they're not really available to buy unless you have a lot of money, like a lot of money. Like they're not very easy to get.
So maybe you have to come to Germany, because I would like to say, Germany is very good, I think, in the health system. For example, for the choices you can make for example, your wheelchair, because there are many companies that produce wheelchairs. And also, for example, one time in the year, there is a big, how can I say that? The name is Ria Care. So it's a big event where companies come and show their products, for example, from France or Germany. And then you can see all the different products. And sometimes you have the luck that you can choose the product and you can have it. So I will I say in Germany, it's okay. Also, it's okay, but not perfect. But you have many choices. Yeah, I think so.
I might go to Germany.
Yeah, maybe you have to. So now you know some German girl, come and write me, and then maybe we can meet at each other.
That would be lovely. Honestly, if I ever come to Germany and come and have a look at the wheelchair, we'll have to do a little meet up, go for a little coffee or something.
Sounds perfect.
And same for you, if you ever come to the UK, you'll have to let me know and we can do a little meet up.
Good to know. A real country, so. Yeah.
Have you been obviously quite known in the social media community? Have you really enjoyed getting to build connections with other people with muscular dystrophy? Have you found it helpful?
I think when I was little, I don't want to talk to anybody else with this disease, because I say, oh no, I don't want to see other people with this disease that are more disabled like me, for example. And it's so terrible.
I was the same.
And I think everybody with muscular dystrophy thinks about that or the same. But when I grow up and I get older and start with social media and meet so many people from other countries, for example, I think it's so helpful because, as we already talked about, you don't, for example, have many products that you can help you, for example, but maybe in German we have quite more. And then we can talk about it and say, hey, maybe it also helped you because it's helped me very much. And for example, people in America say, oh my God, you have to try this for the toilet or this for go away. And so it's very nice when you grow up and have to talk to somebody about mental health, products, and also to know that you're not alone and have people that maybe have the same problem like you. And when you're crying in your bed and say, I can write the person because she or her, him can understand this, it means a lot for me. So yeah, I would to say I love to talk to people with muscular dystrophy. So hope that makes sense.
It does. It really does. I feel the same like you when I was younger, but once I became more accepting of myself, I went completely the other way, and like you, I find it really comfortable now to talk to other people that just understand. And I mean, like recently, the past few weeks I've been a bit under the weather and not well, and I really found it more comforting to get to speak to other people and be like, are you struggling a bit at the minute, and just not feel so alone about it, which I think is a really amazing thing about being a part of this community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have a question. So, do you have siblings? Huh?
Yeah, I've got an older brother.
And do your siblings also have this condition, or are you alone in your family, for example?
I'm alone in my family. What about you?
I have two brothers, and they also have the same condition and the same genetic defect. So we are three children with all the same type and all the same condition. So I grew up with two brothers, and I think man has a little bit harder because it go faster with this condition. And so it's hard for me to see my brothers. And for example, I'm the middle child, and my little brother, the condition goes faster, like me. And then I see my two brothers and thought, oh gosh, okay, my big brother has a wheelchair, my little brother has a wheelchair, and I don't have to use it. So I have to be in contact with other people with this disease all the time, for example. So yeah.
Gosh, honestly, a lot of other people that I speak to that have siblings say their siblings also have it. But no, I was the only one in my family with anything. Everybody else is really like athletic.
Okay, but that's perfect. So I mean, it's good for them.
It's good for them. Yeah, it's good for them. They got lucky. I was the unlucky one with genes.
Oh god.
But it must have been quite, I guess, maybe a bit. Was it difficult, sort of, seeing your siblings go with the condition?
I think so, because for example, my big brother and my little brother have also heart problems. I don't know, many people don't know that muscular dystrophy also affect the organs. Like
yeah.
So the heart for my brothers are more infected or more broken. I don't know the right word.
Yeah.
And for example, mine. And then I have to call the ambulance in the night because my big brother had problems with his heart. So that's, I think, it's this part. But it's also, I think, in your situation, it's also hard to see your siblings that can do everything. And maybe you ask yourself, why it's me? So
yeah.
I don't have that problem so much, because my brothers are also ill. And that's like a duty in our family. So,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Firstly, you're right. A lot of people don't know that it affects the heart. My heart is affected by it, and a lot of people get quite surprised by that. But yeah, and then also you're right. I have often at times looked at my brother and been like, "Oh, why are you like so athletic and tall and really healthy?" And then there's me, and I'm like, "Oh." But yeah, I think I try and always have quite a healthy mindset and outlook, because I think it's very easy to go down a not great path with stuff like that. But I've definitely had my moments when I was younger when I think, well, why you and not me?
Sure. but you have many hands at home that you can help you. So that, yeah.
Absolutely. And it makes all the difference having great people around you. I mean, gosh, I would just struggle and be so miserable on this journey without my support system, and I'm sure you can relate.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the most hardest thing is that when you don't understand your condition, it's hard to explain it to other people. So when you meet some new people and they see, oh, you can walk and also need a wheelchair and this and this and this, it's so complicating for them. Maybe that they say, no, I don't want to be your friend, or they say, oh, I want to be your friend. But, and I think it's easier when you have a supportive family or friends, when you grow up with them, because then they can understand the way you go. Because, for example, when I was little, I can run faster. Like right now, I can't run right now, so but I can't anyway. So when you grow up with people, I think the connection is very strong and stronger when you meet some new people, and it's also hard to complain the condition to them. Yeah.
I agree. I think most of my really close friends are people I've grown up with, and so have seen every stage. And I think you're right. It's just so much easier being around people that just understand and just get it, and you don't have to explain everything or justify or be like, oh, I can't do this because I don't feel well today. Like it's just normal and it's fine.
Yeah, but I think it's okay to make new friends, and I think when you're healthy, it's also hard to make new friends. So it's also hard to make new friends when you have a disability, for example. So I think it's not easier for people who are healthy. And
No.
sometimes maybe you meet the right people, and then they are supportive when you know them, for example, for 1 year. So every minute. So yeah.
I've definitely experienced that. Like some new friends have been amazing, and they just jump right into it and understand you. But you do definitely meet some people that don't really want to be your friend, and it's a weird experience, I think.
Yeah, same.
Like I just don't understand. I've never understood that. I've always found that really hard to get my head around, like when I've had those experiences, because I'm just like, well, why do you not want to be my friend just because of that small element?
Yeah, and sometimes I think it's hard to make a difference about does the person want to be my friend because of the disability or because they don't like me, for my personality. Yeah. Sometimes they like me because of my personality, but then they think, a wheelchair is maybe too complicated for me. So
Yeah.
but it's too much with her. Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. I'm always like second guessing, like, do you not like me because of me? But I think anyone that doesn't like you isn't meant to be in your life for whatever reason. They're not for you.
Yeah, I think it's time wasting. So maybe
Absolutely.
it's good when they're gone. So
I've always been a fan of your fashion sense in your videos,
thank you.
and I really wanted to ask what fashion means to you, but also, have you found that your muscular dystrophy has ever made your fashion choices difficult or impacted it?
100%. And say everything I would like to say in English right now, because I'm a person who loves fashion, and I have so much clothes, so it's terrible. And I love to go shopping, for example, online shopping. I choose online shopping right more often because it's easier, like
Yeah.
go outside shopping because, for example, put on the pants is so terrible and it's so hard, for example, and also hoodies. And I think when I sit in the wheelchair and someone have to lift me up,
Mm-hmm.
example, it's complicated to choose the right color, because when you sweat, for example, you can't wear red, you can't wear bright colors, because then I think about it, the people have to help me, but when they see the sweat, it's very terrible. Or for example, I have very big problems with pants that doesn't fit well when you sit in a wheelchair, but looks perfect in the end. And
Yeah.
I hate it so much. And the problem is when you go outside and have to sit in the wheelchair, the pants have to look good. And it also have, for example, I also have the problem with the size. How do you say that? The length?
The length?
Yeah. Because when I stand, the pants fit perfect, but when I sit in the wheelchair, the pants go under my knee, for example.
Yeah.
And also, I would like to wear some shorts or mini skirts, but when I sit in a wheelchair, it doesn't fit. I also have to lift my arms up, but my arms muscles are very weak, so the clothes is not to have to be not so heavy, for example. So I love fashion, but it's very, very difficult with muscular dystrophy, I think. And I also say, when I don't have this condition, I think my style is more unique and crazier than right now, because muscular dystrophy stole me my fashion era, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I'm very like you. I love clothes. Like, I've got an entire dressing room filled with, like, it's a bit of a habit. It's about, see, this is why we're friends. This is why we have bonded, because we both love fashion.
That's it.
But honestly, like, there's so many clothes that I love, and I think, yes, I'll wear them, but then they're either not comfortable, or I can't get them on in a certain way, or like you, I can't wear them sat down, and it's just a nightmare. Like, most of the time, I have to go with comfortable things, but then sometimes I think, well, I want to look a bit more glamorous.
I feel that so much.
And then even in regards to like makeup and hair, because I have so much wonderful makeup and I love putting it on, but on days when I feel rubbish, I'm like, I cannot I can't do it. I feel too unwell, but then that frustrates me because I feel like, oh, I don't look good, and I want to look good, I want to put it on. So it is a bit of a vicious cycle.
I understand it, but I'm not sure if you're wearing makeup right now. You look fantastic, and I think you don't need makeup. And
Thank you.
I love fashion more than makeup because I'm a nerd. When you talk about makeup or do your makeup, I'm a beginner. So I definitely choose fashion, and so fashion is. And I also say it's also like a hobby for me. Fashion is my hobby, because this hobby I can do, you know, I can go shopping, I can do online shopping. Other people go put your, how do you say that? Go and buy alcohol and go to parties, and the money flew away. And my money can't flew away, can't go to parties, so I have to spend it in clothes, you know?
I think it's much more fun spending it on clothes than going to parties.
But I think parties are also cool because you can make memories, you know? And I'm a person who love to make memories. I don't drink, I don't smoke and take drugs, but I love to be there and feel the energy. And for example, a goal for me is next year to go to a concert and make more crazy, because I love to make memories, and it's sometimes so hard when you have to stay in your bed or can't go to a party because of the muscular dystrophy. So yeah, I hope next year my body is not so bad and I can make many new memories. Yeah.
Is there a specific concert you'd like to go to?
I think it's a German artist, but he makes music in English. So I'm not sure how to spell it right. Vaeon, Vaeon, Ion.
I don't think I've heard of him.
I will send you some videos from him. So
yeah, please. I think Oh, I love that. I've been to a few concerts and I love the feeling and the atmosphere and just the memories.
Yeah.
I think, like probably you, I put a lot more emphasis on the little moments. So even just going out, getting some fresh air, looking at the stars, making memories, all of those things mean so much more. Because probably like you, on days when you don't feel good, you just appreciate the small things.
Perfect. Your sentence was perfect, and I agree 100%. So, yeah.
And in a lot of ways, I think that's probably why I'm so happy in life, because I don't need a lot to be happy. It's the little things and just being alive and being able to make memories, and yeah, that's what means the most.
I think sometimes it's how do you say that? Sometimes I think about, okay, maybe there is a reason why I have this condition. So I don't want to have this condition my whole life, but maybe it's for me important to have it for a little time of life, because then you are more thankful, like people that don't have this shit, for example. And when I look back, for example, I notice, I have make some cool memories and I'm so grateful for that. And I'm not sure if we meet, for example, each other when I don't have this condition. So I meet so many new people because of this condition. But at the end of my life, I would like to say I'm healthy and now I have a cure, you know. So I think everything is reason, but I hope the reasons don't stay my whole life, you know.
I know what you mean. I think I definitely feel like it if there's a purpose and a reason for having it, I'm very thankful that it's made me so appreciative of life and people. And I think in a lot of ways it's made me quite a nice person. Like, I'm quite a good listener. I'm very empathetic for people. And I think
I,
a lot of that is because of my
I can agree.
experiences.
I agree with
Thank you.
that. Yeah,
Thank you.
It's a reason or why so many people with a disability, for example, have more empathy or are more thankful because they enjoy the little moments and have another view from their lives or of their lives, you know, like people that don't have a disability. So yeah,
Absolutely. And so I think, yeah, I'm kind of thankful for that. But like you, I'd like to think that, we're not a million miles off a cure for things, I hope.
yeah. Do you think that one time there is a cure for our disability, or do you say I'm 100 agree with my disability and I'm on the flow and I don't need to be cured to have a life for me, you know?
Oh, that's a difficult question. Um, I think when I was younger, I looked at it as if I absolutely had to have a cure, and there was no other option. But now, the way that I look at it is I'd be somewhat happy either way. I think, obviously, in the perfect world, if somebody came up to me tomorrow and said, here's a cure, I'd take it. Of course, I'd take it.
Okay.
But I also don't want to just wish my life away, if that makes sense. I want to try and just live each day as best as I can, and what will be will be. I'm a big believer in the universe, and putting it in the universe's hands and trusting the process. So I sort of go with the flow a lot, but yeah, I do hope that there will be a cure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Can I understand?
What about you?
I think since I was diagnosed at the age of 4, since that time, so I'm very little and have my diagnosis when I was 4, so I grew up with this condition. maybe, or sometimes there are people that have this condition at the age of 16 or older and don't notice it before. So I grow up with it, and I don't know how my life could be without a disability, you know. But since little, I hope someday there was a cure for me. And I think sometimes that gives me energy to do stuff. How do you say that? So right now I live with this condition and make things. And I trust in the process and in the medicine and all the other stuff that someday we all be cured. And so I have two sides. Oh, I go to counselors with this disability or condition, and when I healthy, I also do it and have both sides, you know. And I also spread awareness and would like that people know this condition, because the children that born today, for example, or are little, I would like that they know that there is some hope, and maybe for in the future that they don't have to live this condition, you know. So I would love to have it, but I also would love to give it to the little children that grew up right now, because I hope they have, in some situations, not all situations, but a better life than myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I know what you mean.
I hope there's some cure someday. Maybe not when I'm 60, maybe a little bit younger. But
yeah. No, I think that's an absolutely reasonable approach to it. I really do. And yeah, I think a lot of people would be able to relate to that and feel the same. Absolutely.
And I think... Sorry?
No, go on, you go.
And I think when there's a pill and people say, I don't need the pill and to be cured, it's also perfect and it's also fine, because everyone have to make their own decision. But when the choice to take the pill, I would take it 100% like you. So
it'd be nice to have the option, wouldn't it?
And for the little children that grew up right now, that they have possibilities. I think that's the most important stuff, that they can make their own choice and not like us. So we don't have right now. So we have to live.
No. I really enjoyed getting to chat to you and getting to do this. I think you've done brilliant. You've answered really great, especially with English not being your first language, honestly. So give yourself a little pat on the back.
Thank you so much for the feedback. I want to improve my English, so that's very important that you have give me good feedback. So maybe I can improve my English, and it's not bad for my self-confidence, you know? So it's good.
Do you know what? We should do, like, we could do, like, calls in the future, and you could then get more fluent.
Perfect. I need an English teacher, and you're the best English teacher, I think, so...
Oh my gosh, yeah. Right. That's a plan.
Perfect.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the rest of your evening. I know it's probably quite late where you are now, isn't it?
I think 1 hour later than your time.
1 hour later. It's about 9 o'clock where you are then, probably. Yeah. Thank you, and I'll see you again soon, definitely.